Hello, my name is Mr. Polk and welcome to my kitchen. Today we'd like to take a look at the recipe for the stack salad, and to do that we need to learn the mise en place of the different vegetables. So I'm going to go through the mise en place first, and then we'll be able to take a look at how to actually construct the stack salad. And this is something that really showcases your knife skills now that you've started to learn some skills. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with cutting the onion. So we're going to learn the specific ways to cut the onion. Okay, so let's take a look at the onion. When you're cutting an onion, you want to think about how the onion grows. Okay, so this was the root end, this was down in the ground, and this is the stem end. And when you cut it in, you want to start by cutting it in half and going right through from the root to the stem like this, okay? And then open it up. Then what you want to do is you want to keep the roots intact and just cut the stem end. The roots will help hold the onion together. And then down in front, one nice cut, and now it's going to take this end off. And then what you're going to do is peel off one layer. Once you peeled off the layer, the skin, you're ready to go. And here's the thing, when you cut the onion, you want to make 3 cuts, okay? First thing you're going to do is you're going to cut this way. And that depends on what we're going to make. We're going to try and do a Brunoise here. So I'm going to try and cut little 1/16 of an inch cuts, kind of going into the onion, nice and straight. It's about an 1/8 of an inch apart, rather. And you're just going to take it like this until you go all the way through. And then once you have your cuts, then sometimes we do the parallel cut, sometimes we don't. It depends what you're doing. I'm going to make like 2 parallel cuts. I'm just going to kind of work my way into the knife a little bit. It's going to help really keep these small Brunoise cuts together. Just make sure you're watching where your fingers go. Then you hold the whole onion together and you do an 1/8 of an inch from the end. You use the claw, keep it against your knuckles, and you make really nice motions to get these really small Brunoise cuts of the onion. And for the salad, you know, an onion's a strong flavor. So I don't want the onion to be big old chunks. I want to have these really nice Brunoise. And I'm obviously going very slow, okay, because I'm trying to show you just the motions and everything of how to do it. But you just work your way through the onion, and then when you're done, you're left with the Brunoise cuts. Now let's take a look at the tomato. We're going to do a 1/4 inch dice, so a small dice with the tomato. And the first thing you're going to see is we need to core the tomato. So we can take, if it's a vine tomato, take the top off. They make a little tool to do this, but we can just use our paring knife, hold the tomato by the edge, and just make a small cut, only going a little bit with your knife on an angle, and you're just cutting a cone out of the tomato. And that gets rid of the core. Then it depends on the method that you want to do. The first method is what we would call the concasse, where you cut the tomato in half, okay, and then you will actually just squeeze out, okay, you'll squeeze out like that all of the insides, okay, I'm just going to do that over there. You squeeze out the insides, and then you lay the tomato down, and you just use the heel of your hand to flatten it, okay, and then from there you want to go ahead and cut it into whatever dice you're looking for, in our case 1/4 inch strips. The second way I want to show you how to do this is the fillet method. So for the fillet method, you'll cut your tomato this way, okay, up and down, and then cut it in half again into quarters, and then you're going to fillet the 1/4. And for this, it's easier to use a small paring knife. I like to hold the tomato by the top and then cut so far, and then I can hold the tomato by the end. I can flip it around and then just finish. And then any little bit of the inside of the tomato you can scrape out. Okay? And then, once you have your tomato piece like that, then you can cut it. It's almost like a teardrop, right? Or a leaf. Then you can cut it to the shape you want. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little 1/4 inch, a small dice, so 1/4 inch cuts. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it, and I'll hold them all up together. I'm going to do the claw and just do really nice smooth cuts to get really nice small dice out of the tomato. And you're probably wondering why we do this. It's because we don't want all this wet, fleshy stuff here, this wet stuff in our salad. We just want this really nice, thicker tomato, and it's going to give the salad a nice texture, and you're not going to have these juices running all over it. Now we'll take a look at the cucumber. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut off the end of the cucumber, and I'm going to cut about, I don't know, 2 to 3 inch section, something that I can work with. And here's where you're going to do it like the lab. You're going to start and cut an edge on it so that it's now square. Okay. And then what I'd like to do is I don't want to square up the entire cucumber, because even though it's not going to be a perfect small dice, I really want to have some of this green because it's going to show. So I do 1/4 inch, and again, all these vegetables have been washed and prepped. So I'm just making these 1/4 inch slices here. Okay. And then what you can do is you can stack these up, and you can cut these into 1/4 inch pieces like that, 1/4 inch sticks. And then turn, and now here's where we can get our really nice small dice. Okay. And then these pieces have all the green on, and then we can take this, maybe not use the end piece, but we can get a couple nice ones here. They're going to have some really nice color. Okay, there we go. Now let's get into one that's going to be a little trickier. I cut the end off of the carrot, and then again I go for something workable. And the first cut is you're going to hold it on the side with the claw and very carefully cut a flat spot, and that's going to keep it from rolling. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of, because I'm going to make a brunoise, so I want to cut a few 1/8 inch slices. So we're going to go 1/8 inch, and you can use your little tools that we have. All right, so you don't want to forget about that stuff. Be very careful to make the claw, and then just try and cut straight, and a nice 1/8 of an inch cut. This is the same as the potato. The carrot is just a little tougher than the potato. Then whatever you have, lay them together, and at this point you can get rid of the scraps so they're nice and straight, and then work on these little 1/8 of an inch slices. Okay, and remember, they are 1/8 of an inch slices. They're not just little slivers. Sometimes when people get to the brunoise, they just want to keep going very teeny tiny. Okay, and then once you get a couple strips going, then you can turn these into the brunoise. So on my very first video is, I think a lot of times people think that you have to just do one at a time. Well, here you can see we have a whole collection of these guys, and you just, work your way through. And again, I'm obviously going slower than I normally would because I want you to see it on the camera, but this is how you can make really nice brunoise cuts out of the carrot. Okay, and they're going to look really nice on our salad. So now we have our last brunoise cut. We're going to do a radish. And I've washed my radish, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a flat spot, and then a cut here, and then I'm going to cut the top off. And then we're going to treat this just like the carrot, in that we're going to cut it in these little 1/8 of an inch slices. And I'm not going to square up the whole thing because I want to leave the red. Okay, I want to have some color in the salad. I don't want to just have little brunoise cuts of a white. And then the same thing as you did before. I'm going to line them up, and you want to cut them into your 1/8 of an inch strips. Okay, they look like little matchsticks, and then you can line up all of your little matchsticks, almost like matchstick carrots, and go ahead and make your cuts. And again, the red ends might not be perfectly Brunoise, but that's okay because I want to get some of that color in there. And there you go. That's how you do your Brunoise radishes. They look really nice. So the last piece for the salad mise en place is the cheese. And the cheese is really nice to do because it's already square. So we're looking at just cutting it into small dice. So we're just cutting this into 1/4-inch sticks. You know, and you can do a couple of these and get your really nice 1/4-inch sticks. And then as soon as you have all your 1/4-inch sticks, you can line them up. And then you can go ahead and have your small dice of the cheese. And again, the cheese is easy because it's already a cube, all right, and you don't have to really do any prep to it like you have to do to the rest of the vegetables. And there you can see your small diced cheese. Okay, so now that we have the mise en place for the actual salad, let's take a look at mise en place for the dressing. And the first mise en place for the dressing is going to be the garlic. And what I want to explain to you is here what you see is you have a bulb of garlic, and then recipes are going to call for a clove. And if you just put some pressure on it, you're going to get it to break apart, and you can see all of the cloves of garlic in the bulb. So you can see if you thought that entire head was one clove of garlic, you'd be putting a lot of garlic into your recipe. Now to prepare it, what I like to do is I like to cut the ends off. Not everybody does it this way, but I like to cut off the ends. And then I lay it under my knife, and I don't hit it, I just give it a little press. And all I'm trying to do is peel it. You don't want to smash it yet, because you got to peel it. And there's all kinds of tricks to peeling, but what we're going to do is just peel it real simply like that. And then now you get to smash it. You get to do what I like to call the polk smash. Make sure your bolster is not on the board, okay? Lay your piece of garlic down, and then what I do is hold the knife flat, take the heel of your hand, and you just give it a 1, 2, 3, and you give it a polk smash. So 1, 2, 3, and just whack. And once you do that, that's the polk smash. And you can see I've got garlic everywhere. And then we can move it to the center. And then it's a matter of trying to slice up whatever is left from the smashing. And then you want to mince it doing a fan cut. And you just start here, and you just keep working back and forth like this until you have it minced as fine as you want it. Okay, and then keep putting it back together. You don't want to do the chop, chop, chop like a hammer. You're going to dull your knife. This is more of a rocking. And you just keep doing this back and forth until it's minced as fine as you want. And now we want to take a look at the herbs. Now we've already rinsed them off. These are the fresh basil leaves. What you want to do is you want to roll them up nice and tight. And then you're going to do a slice known as a chiffonade cut. And you're going to cut it into these thin little slices. And then from there, you're just going to do the fan cut back and forth until it's minced the way you like it. The thyme is very easy. Okay, thyme is designed to not take a lot of time. And you just hold it like this and go and pull backwards against it. And all the little thyme leaves are going to fall off. And then you can just go over them with your knife so they're as fine as you would like them. In closing, I'd just like to look at everything we've done here. We went through and did all of our mise en place for the salad. We did small dice on the cucumber, the tomato, the cheese. We did our brunoise on the carrot, on the radish, and the onion. And then we took care of our mincing of the garlic and the fresh herbs. So now we're ready to prepare our dressing, and we're ready to start building our salad. So thanks for cooking with me today, and I can't wait to cook with you real soon right here in Mr. Polk's kitchen.